Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right 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 now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right.
All right, and we are live. Welcome to the, what's this, meeting 39? No, 49. Oh my goodness. Our 49th meeting of our Right Now Writers Group. I can't believe that we're almost at the big 5-0. Clearly, I'm joined by some of our other friends here in the community as we are going to try to get some writing done today to see what is possible and see just what writing nonsense and shenanigans and craziness is on our mind. So make sure you stick around. We're going to get a couple writing sprints. We'll start off with some writers chat and hopefully we can motivate each other because where are you without a community? All right, that's what I got. You guys know me, Kaufman, Dragons, and all that jazz. I'm working on Scarecrow because I don't work on anything else these days. So that's what I'm working on. And I will popcorn it over to Tiara. Tiara.
Hello, I'm Tiara. I'm working on a new screenplay. I'm excited about it. It's fun. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's fun.
Yay.
Yeah.
You're no longer the Maddie. You're no longer the only one working on a screenplay over here. I'll kick it over to you, Maddie. What are you working on today?
Today I'm trying to come up with an 8-page screenplay. I just got word from a group that I'm friends with that we got funding, and now I have to come up with something real fast.
That's so cool.
That's exciting. That's really
Awesome,
exciting.
dude.
So I guess we'll have to see if you're going to be able to come up with the creative inspiration when there's some money on the line.
Oh, no.
And Calvin, what are you working on today, my friend?
Working on a little bit of the second Storm book, but I'm also working on more promotional stuff for the first Storm book that comes out on the 15th.
Woo! Well, you're also, 2 weeks? That's less than 2 weeks, right? 15th
11 days.
Next
11
Saturday.
days.
Nice.
Was it intentional for it to launch on Father's Day?
No, I just happened to pick a day. That was the day that I just moved everything by a month after your birthday, and it's like, oh, it's Father's Day. That'll be a nice Father's Day present to myself.
So your family and they'll all be like, yep, well, this is my present to myself. I absolutely love that, Calvin. Absolutely. And Chetzel, leave it up to you.
I'm working on Bound by Song, the continuation of what I did for the Final Fantasy or the Fated Fantasy contest. I am almost 30,000 words in with that, and I am 16 days out from the release of my second book. So I didn't even realize it until like half an hour ago.
Wow, you are releasing this month as well. That's exciting. That's actually really, really exciting. So it sounds like we definitely have a couple of book releases this month. I'm like, man, I wish I was ready to release Scarecrow. I have to feel like motivated by you guys. With let's see. So with your guys' book launches, do you feel like you're getting more writing in or less?
I don't know about chat, but I feel like I'm getting a little less in just because it's like if I'm not writing, I'm doing more promotional work.
I'm honestly getting more in, but more because the Fated Fantasy, doing the continuation for that. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm going a little overboard with some of this, but it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I wish I wasn't so busy. I really wish that I could be making some more progress on Scarecrow. When you guys are writing, do you guys feel like you've been pretty accomplished with what you've actually been writing on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a little. I've hit a stalemate on my current chapter, and I've been debating on just bypassing it and moving to the next chapter or not.
Oh no! That's the worst. Hitting a rough patch for a chapter.
Yeah. It could be worse. It could be a complete writer's block. Instead, I'm not
Mhm.
sure if it's just being like I'm just stalling or I'm just not feeling the words coming out right now.
Yeah, you know what? I've been there a couple of times in this draft of the of Scarecrow. There's definitely been a few moments where I just like did not know. I wasn't feeling like motivated to get through the chapter. And then what I did was I think I just pushed myself to do it anyways. And that is actually how dragons landed into the book.
Nice.
I solved my own problem, but I actually think I'm at a pretty good spot right now in terms of motivation. I'm at a place where like I want to write more, but I feel like I just don't have the time. But I was like, I know what I want to be doing.
Yeah, it's a lot better than having to deal with a massive writer's block. So
Yeah. True.
Have you guys been feeling at all lately that you've just like you felt like motivated and inspired, but you just like haven't had the time to be able to do it?
Yeah, I've been kind
Yeah.
of. I've been inspired because I honestly I just commissioned a piece for my the screenplay I'm working on those characters,
Mm-hmm.
and it came out so good. I was like inspired based on seeing the. So I've been really like into it lately, but between work and everything else, it's like, I don't have time, but I've been sneaking a few words when I can.
It's interesting. I feel like the busier we are, I think the more challenging it becomes, right? To be able to have that creative energy.
Yeah.
I feel like we like really have to become masters of like balance and maybe a little bit of self awareness. I don't know, because then it's like, all right, well, if you're busier and you have less time for whether it's work or other responsibilities or family or even having a life, it's like, well, then how do you have that maybe that creative energy to work on your storytelling? It's not that you don't like your storytelling, but it does take energy. I almost feel like a
Yeah.
lot of writers like almost don't really fully like think about how much it takes to write a story and like the amount of like creative emotional energy that goes into telling it. I mean, like, even though you're sitting down, but you're like, you have to like think strategically through all your story things, or whether you're just having fun and like being a discovery writer, you're still having to like put out.
yeah, I don't think people ever realize how much work really goes into that until they actually do it.
It's
And it's like
hard.
right in the end game, and then they look at it and it's like, oh, holy crap, this is a lot.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
I feel like you don't even realize how much it takes until you sit down at the end of the day and it's like, oh my god, I need to go to sleep like today.
I've had days like that before. I use autocorrect and it tells you how many words you write a day. I had a day where I wrote nearly 3,500 words in an entire day, and
Mhm.
I just sat there and I looked at the screen. It's like 10:30 at night. And I'm just like, I actually wrote that much in a day. Holy crap!
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we've all had those like benders where it's like we're just writing and writing and writing, and we're hopped up on caffeine and energy drinks and probably shit we're not supposed to be hopped up on. And then it's like, oh, it's 4 a.m. and I haven't stopped writing for like 11 hours.
Oh my God. That's me with gaming.
Before, when I was working on my piece that got published in March, there were days I was up until like 4, 5, 6 in the morning, just revising and editing. It was not fun, but it did get done.
Do you guys ever get like really mad when you start working on something new and it just flows like 10 times easier than anything else that you've been working on, like super hard? I feel like
Yes.
I've been getting like so upset because there's like one script I'm working on that's just coming out like zero effort, and it just makes
Mhm.
me so mad because there are other things I
Yes.
want to do more.
I actually think that's why that happens is there's more important things and your brain is like, you know what? No, I'm gonna make you take a break by doing this and make it an absolute masterpiece without you even trying.
Every
Uh,
masterpiece comes out on accident.
Pretty much. I mean, that's honestly what's been happening with Bound by Song. Is it started with it started with this the short story, and then I actually started working on it because my other writing group was like, "Hey, we want to hear more about these characters," and then I'm sitting there, and suddenly I have like 7 chapters already. I'm in chapter 15 like right now, so it's just like I have a book coming out in a year or two that actually has a deadline, and I'm working on this. I'm not really going to complain. It's coming out great.
That's the same way I am right now. I'm trying to get the second Storm book done for next year,
Hmm.
but every now and then I keep going back to my dragon story and start working on that a little bit, and it's like, okay, there was 3 hours of time that I should have been spent doing the Storm book, but it's like it does flow a little easier. It's like, all right, it's a break from the scientific world and getting into the fantasy world.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that. I think when I think about the creative process and I think about energy, I think that if you are sitting down to write and it comes naturally to you, and like without having to think about any obstacles or any problems, and it's just flowing, obviously that's the flow state everyone wants to be in. I think that usually happens when we have an inherent sense of the characters, the story, the beats, and the plot that we want to tell that comes from a true like creative place. I think other times when we feel blocked or when we're struggling or when it's a little bit more of an effort, I think a lot of times we are either, sometimes it can be missing a skill, right? Sometimes it's some type of skill that maybe we haven't learned, or it's a problem that we haven't really thought through. Because there's usually something that's stopping us. Because at the end of the day, right, as writers, we can literally put whatever we want on the page. You could literally put a rock staring at a wall, and that's your prerogative. But we like, it's almost like we forget that in the moment because like we want it to come out a certain way. I almost wonder if it's maybe our expectations of what we're wanting for the what we're working on, because that's happened to me so many times. Like I totally get it.
It honestly makes me think of the movie 22, where some of those characters they would go like in that like trance like state.
Mm-hmm.
That's where most people really want to be, and sometimes it is just so difficult to get there.
Yeah.
So then, what is the key to getting there? I know, Maddie, you were saying you've just like been in that flow state recently. What was that? Like, how did you get there?
I have no idea. I I sat down and I was like, I have an idea for a film and I don't want to think about it too hard. I just kind of want to like start writing and push it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote the first 3 pages. I was like, this is pretty good. And continued. I was like, okay, I have characters kind of set up now. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, this is weird. An inciting incident happened and we're still moving. And then I just ended up with like 26 pages in a single sitting, which is like insane for
Right.
my pace. It just doesn't happen. I just ended
And
up there
that's
on
that's that's
accident.
never happened to you before. You said.
No, I was supposed to be working on another script. I don't know what happened.
So maybe it's a
Blacked
sign
out.
that there's like something repeatable there for like in the future, right? The next time that you're like trying to, that you just have to like allow yourself to be in this like brand new idea state and telling a certain type of story. Maybe that's it's as simple as that. I don't know.
Maybe I found my genre.
Maybe you did.
That
Did
could
you
be it, dude.
I mean, that could be it, right? Because we like, I think a lot of times we end up writing based on life experiences, based on the media we consumed and all the things. But I think inherently, I think we probably have certain stories that resonate stronger with us based off our lived experiences. And I think a lot of times we don't know what those types of stories are until we're actually like trying to craft them.
I'm excited to work on it still. That's the good part.
I think Lynn brings up a really interesting point. You're saying that having a writing routine gets you in the flow state. I was like, I think that's actually really powerful as well. Having a, I think it's understand or trying to understand within yourself that you have a flow state, and then how do you bridge that gap to get to the flow state? And I think like that's the solution. And I think for one person it's a writing routine. I think for somebody else it's maybe you need to like go somewhere, or for somebody else maybe it's random or spontaneous. So then for the times that it's random or spontaneous, what about the random spontaneity is it that gets you there? For me, I used to struggle a lot with only being able to write like these ingenious scenes and these really like ingenious moments and things when I was feeling an extreme emotional moments, highs or lows. So then I would always make excuses that I could only write really well when I was either dealing with some major problems in life, like true tortured artist, that type of vibe, or like really happy stuff, like one or the other. But then I made excuses that like I couldn't write consistently because I was only able to write based on the way I was feeling and not based on a consistent routine I'd set for myself. But I had to go through that learning process to figure out how to bridge that gap for myself. And clearly live streaming the process has been such a save for me. And I think it's been the routine for me personally of yeah.
I get that.
Mhm.
I kind of what helped me was like I said, I've been using the autocrit and it tells you how much you do a day, and I've been trying to do at least 1,000 words. And since I started doing that, I'm on a 68, 69 day streak now. Just because I'm able to do so many words a day, and as long as I get that, I'm happy. And sometimes I do like, and there's days where I do like 1,070 something.
Mm-hmm.
But then most days I end up doing like 1,200 or 1,300 or even like 1,800
Mm-hmm.
because I'm trying to get at least 1,000. But then it's like I actually get in that state where it's like, hey, this part is actually going really well. I'm going to keep going even though I'm exhausted and I should probably go to bed, but I don't want to stop this part. And then suddenly I've done like 2,000 words.
Mm-hmm.
But the part is just really good.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I had one of my writing group does like monthly, like all day writing sprints where we'll get on in the morning and then just kind of
Mm-hmm.
sprint until we're done for the day. And so I was like, okay, because normally when we do those, I don't really stay on too long, maybe three,
Mm-hmm.
4 hours, and then I'm done. But this time, I was able to hang. I had me a monster first thing in the morning. I was excited. I was excited about my screenplay. I was excited about my characters. I was like, hell yeah, brother! And so I wrote like a lot that day. I was like, oh my god, like I didn't think I would come back to this after being horribly, horribly burnt out a couple months ago. So I was very, I
So
was
Tiara
very.
was the energy drink a secret unlock for you?
It might have been, but
These monsters are a hidden key.
yeah, no. Honestly, when I was writing Dogpile, which was the story that I had published in March, Monster fueled that. That was a Monster sponsored story.
My go-to is like one of those green apple rock stars that tastes like
Mm,
they taste unhealthy, but
they're so good.
I'll drink like 3 of those. It'll be like we're finishing something tonight. It's
It tastes like battery acid. Hell
completely wild.
As I said, we all go on these caffeine benders.
yeah.
Not me, because caffeine puts me to sleep.
It's interesting. I think for me, when I feel like I'm suddenly like super creative, I think what it is, I think for me it's an idea. I think if there's an idea that resonates deeply enough with the story that I'm working on, I almost feel like personally compelled, like I have to go work on it. And there's definitely been times where I've like been hanging out with like friends or family or doing something, and it's like came to me. I'm like, I have to write. Now, of course, I could write the
Yeah.
idea down on a phone or something like that, but I feel like for me, then it becomes a missed opportunity if I don't keep working on it and then following it all the way through. Whether that's a couple pages or whether that's thousands upon thousands of words, it just depends on the moment.
Yeah. And something I like, which I haven't really been able to quite, I guess, utilize to, I guess, the fullest extent, but being able to like talk it out as I'm writing and being and like figure things out in real time with somebody else, like bouncing ideas off other people, like
Mhm.
that is so fun for me and really helps me kind of lock in and be like, oh, you said this, it made me think of this, and then like, you know, so like, I don't know, it's just it's
No,
fun.
that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. Is that like that's kind of like an open brainstorming session,
yeah.
right? Is what you're kind of like speaking to, which is actually really powerful because when you're trying to think through storytelling, being able to talk through story beats or characters' ideas with other people as well is such a great thing.
Yeah.
Are you guys journalers? Do you guys journal your writing notes? I feel like that's my version of talking. I have to write everything down, or else it didn't happen.
I've definitely done that before. I definitely have. I'm all for journaling and capturing everything, or else I forget.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is filling out an entire whiteboard, taking a photo of it, and then wiping it down and forgetting that the photo exists.
Maddie, I love whiteboards. Yes. It's like if I could have a room of like digital whiteboards, that's what I would go with.
Right? I have a notebook that I take to work with me, and when I'm at work, I'll kind of jot down notes and stuff. And so, because I'm always, especially on the clock, girl, I'm listening to music and thinking about my characters. Like, so, oh, hold on, hold on, am I lagging for anybody else?
A little bit.
Can you hear me?
We can hear
Okay.
you just fine. It's like your camera's in slow motion.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Tiara went into the Matrix.
Told her not to follow White Rabbit.
Well, hopefully she took what was that? The blue pill?
I thought it was the red pill.
Was it the red pill that wakes you up? Are you? Do you take the blue or the red pill?
Well, if she comes back, we'll know what she took.
Oh man! So I'm curious for what you guys have been feeling super motivated on lately with your stories. What would you guys say is like the one thing that you're the most excited about to keep writing, or to keep working or developing?
The characters.
Is it for you the characters?
No, without good characters, the story really sucks.
Oh, that's a good point. That is a very good point.
I've been working on a culture, and I've honestly actually developed a language that is completely usable, and I've actually been having like way too much fun for that.
Have you been brainstorming with Christopher Poloni?
No.
You
know, I've actually been taking like legitimate like linguistics. Like I've been reading about linguistics and how languages work and stuff, and I've actually been making something that if I could actually make enough of it, somebody could actually learn to speak it for real.
Wow.
It's been really fun. I even actually created a song from it too.
That's really cool, actually.
That is really cool.
So you're creating an entire language for the world.
Yep. Technically, there's actually 2 languages. Technically 3 if you count just like the common language, but there's Common, Zarin, and Highborn. And Zarin language is very lyrical, and it's been fun working with that. It flows like a song, and and honestly, it's supposed to tie in with the whole bound by song title. So
It's actually really cool. That takes a lot of I feel like developing a language is a lot of research and understanding into phonetics and grammar and how languages work, at least to be able to craft one that fully makes sense, where characters can actually use elements interchangeably. Like a lot of like really popular ones, like I think and I mean I would say when I think of languages from popular ones, I would
Klingon.
say, yeah, I was going to say Klingon. I was actually going to say with Star Trek, because it's known for the Klingon language being so like diversive and so expansive. And a lot of times they usually bring in language experts. They usually bring in like linguistic experts to develop the language. Because
in the Atlantis, the Lost Empire, the Atlantean language was created by a linguist. Na'vi was also created by a linguist for Avatar.
Oh, really?
And I'll say for Ward, I actually have used Vulgarlang, but that is
Mhm.
not what I used to create this. I actually went through ChatGPT because I wasn't sure where exactly to go, and I
Mhm.
wasn't sure where to start. So I just kind of went from there, and then I kind of started researching.
Mhm.
But it's really neat because there's some languages that I found that certain words can be used interchangeably, and then
Mhm.
sometimes there's suffixes or prefixes that you wouldn't think would actually work with the other, but it does, and it has an entirely different meaning, and it is just really neat. And I've kind of like actually created like entire phrases, words. I've got a glossary of words already that's going to go in the back of the book for people, and I'm honestly actually thinking of recording the song myself and then like sharing it through the Discord, so people can
Wow,
actually get a taste of what it sounds like.
that's actually really cool.
Get some of that Spotify back pocket money.
Well,
By
I
the
well, I gotta get going, guys. It's a long trek home for me.
Calvin, thanks for joining us this week, my dude.
I will see you next week.
Have a good one.
Catch
See
you
ya.
later, dude. And by the way, I just wanted to welcome Bradley. Is it Bradley? Bradley is streaming over from Twitch. Always love seeing Twitch friends and fam over here. Would love to hear what type of writer you are, what you work on. We love welcoming new writers to the community because I know their comment mentioned songwriting, which we have a couple songwriters here in the community. Soul, I know, haven't you embarked on songwriting before?
Yep, I've written quite a few songs. Surprisingly,
Mhm.
I did a rewrite of The Parting Glass years ago.
Mhm.
I created something for Burning Ember, which was loosely based off a Fleetwood Mac song, and then I've created a and then I created a song for Bound by Song.
Mhm.
There's gonna be a couple
Okay.
others throughout the book too, but I've
Mhm.
got at least one done.
Yeah, I've created the song for Scarecrow as well, which I decided is the replacement for the prologue. So I've decided to create that replacement for the prologue, which is like the opening song. I want to say I think I named it the Song of the Lost. Um, but yeah, I feel like it was just a much better strategy for me than doing a prologue. But I think like for advertising, when I think about what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to try to see if I can either hire or create and use it as part of the book trailer. And I think trying to figure out how I can incorporate the song for spreading awareness for it. And by the way, welcome back, Tiara.
Hello.
Hello.
We thought you got sucked into the Matrix.
Honestly, I did for a little bit. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. So
Oh man. Let's see. Bradley, you said I do songwriting and I'm working towards querying a contemporary fantasy novel. Loving the stream. Aw, thank you. Well, hey, I know we have Maddie, aren't you doing a bunch of querying right now?
I'm doing so.
Like all the pain, all the pain and hassle over here.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
Why is it so? Why has querying been so challenging? Is it
uh,
from like writing the query letters themselves, or is it sending them out there and lack of responses?
it's the lack of responses
Mhm.
usually. It kind of feels like a really messed up version of Tinder with
Mhm.
filmmakers, and you just never get a match. You're sad.
Yeah, I mean that's a hard. Are you looking to like try to option your script, or are you just looking for? Are you trying to like pitch?
It's kind of a mix. Trying to pitch it to agents
Yeah,
to
you
see
should
if I
you
can
should go
get
to pitch
help
fest.
optioning.
You should go to like pitch fests. You usually have a better chance of at least an in person energy.
I'm trying real hard to do it for free. That's been the
Yeah,
painful part, yeah.
sometimes pitch fests do cost. That's right. It's downside. Um, yeah, let me think about that. Let me
Yeah.
think about that because I know there when I was living in LA, I know there were some free ones. There's generally some free ones. And then conferences, events generally tend to have the paid factor.
It's kind of just throwing my script at people on IMDb Pro, like please. But they don't actually get the script until like they've answered the query, and they would have to answer the query to get the script, and then it's a mess. It's a mess.
Man, yeah, it's like I'm not super familiar with querying myself since I haven't gone through that. Probably will in the future. Maybe I will at some point in the future, but I feel pretty content to go the self-published route for now. Let's see, and what did we have here? Remember, Maggie, you said querying is painful and soul-killing. I would never do it again. I mean, it's a hard one because querying, from what I've been told, is a little bit more of a numbers game. It's not as much about the story. It's a little more similar to like a cover letter type of deal with a job, right? Because it's really you're trying to hook somebody in so that way they're interested enough over the 100 other queries that they receive daily or weekly to check out your story. And then if that story matches what they're looking for, I think it's a numbers game. I really think it is more than anything.
You know what? The amount of agents that are also looking for people with resumes, but then in order to get stuff on your resume, you need an agent, and in order to get an agent, you need to have
it. Same thing as job hunting. It's a catch-22, right? We've all been there, right? I know when I was first needing a job, you need the experience to get the job, but you need the job to get the experience. Yep, same exact thing with agents, I imagine, right? They want you to have the stuff to be ready to have an agent, but you need the agent sometimes to be ready to get yourself out there with the stuff, unless you've built up like a good or some type of social media presence, or if you've proven book sales.
Right.
I know I was just reading on or not, I was just listening to one of the Sanderson lectures, and he was saying that agents in traditional publishing on average have the expectation that it's around 10,000-ish or so books sold before agents will consider representing unpublished authors. I'm seeing that.
It's ridiculous.
At least for like traditional, bigger agents for representing bigger.
I'm about to go door to door.
What was that?
I'm about to go door to door.
Maddie, I believe in you. I think your new style will help you stand out a little bit.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Oh man. Let's see. By the way, Susan had an interesting question. You said there's a question on some of the submission forms. Did you use AI for your work? I never did. Susan, what submission forms are you referring to? Like for querying? I'd actually be really curious. That's a really interesting question. Because we know AI is very much on everybody's mind in this day and age, and it's especially in artistic fields and communities. It's very can be very divisive. Absolutely. So I could see why that would be probably a question on certain submission forms for sure. I feel like all writers are agreed that we don't use AI for like writing our own stuff. Like I think most writers are agreed on that part. I think the debate and the challenge always comes into how writing is used for like tools and how it's used on like back-end processes. And some people are just trying to cheat the system. So that creates a inconsistency and challenges for sure. I guess it's interesting for me because I feel like I can speak to at least using AI a little bit for tools, but I can also prove that I don't use AI for my writing because I have 300 or so streams to prove that I've written it on stream.
Right.
It's me. It's like I feel like I feel like that's enough evidence to prove that it was written by me.
Fair.
I saw one thing, and it was like a Twitter post, and it said if you see a lot of M dashes, that it's a sign of AI.
That's been surfacing for like the past 2 weeks now. That's been surfacing for the past 2 weeks. I forgot who I was talking with about that. It was like M dash. M dash is yes. And I think it's dashes in general, with specifically around
Which
M
is so
dashes.
unfortunate because I'm an M dash abuser. Like that's just how I write. I don't know what you want me to do.
No, I'm right there with you.
Well, I think it's because people, obviously, we don't want to be fooled, right? You don't want to read a story and then be told it's written by an author only to learn it was AI created. So there's a lot of fear from a lot of readers and writers, right? That it's being AI tools are being misused to tell the story instead. So they're trying to find signs like, okay, this is AI or this is not AI. But I mean, I think in terms of like the M dash rule, theory, whatever that is, when I think about punctuation and I think about our non-common punctuation marks like M dashes, ellipses, parentheses, so those are probably the bigger non-common ones. Um, I think that I generally feel like a good standard for those is a less is more. Generally, punctuation you want to be invisible, because punctuation should be serving the text and the story that you're trying to convey, right? There's a reason that most sentences end with a period. You don't know that a period's there because it's supposed to be invisible. When more punctuation like M dashes or the ellipses, when they're used more consistently, our eye is drawn to it because they are non-standard. When our eye is drawn to it, we're then thinking about, oh, okay, there's more M dashes instead of what the story is trying to convey.
It's more of like an emotional tell.
It's a little similar. I heard the same thing with like a speech tags with dialogue as well, which I thought was really interesting. Of like, why use a speech tag for dialogue if the dialogue is strong? Shouldn't it be able to speak for itself? Now, obviously, like you need to tell who the character is, right? Like if it's like telling which character is speaking, that's important. But why have character said something and then character exclaimed? Shouldn't the dialogue be strong enough that it's evident that the character is saying it in a certain way? I always thought that was really interesting. Let's see. And by the way, it sounds like Cheryl's putting their hand up for some querying over here. So, all right, let me see. I totally, let's see, where was that on comments? So let's see. Mama Maggie, you're saying most use non-generative AIs for editing and formatting. Translation programs are both non-generative and generative AI, so writers need to check the type. Yeah, and I think I would agree that I generally see that a lot as well. Oh, that actually makes sense. Yeah, so I was probably talking with Mama Maggie about it then, actually, because we were talking about the M dashes. Yeah, so then I think it's just thinking through the non-standard ones. Do you guys feel like M dashes are the only ones you guys like use a lot?
I can overuse an ellipses from time to time, but it is mostly the M dashes, commas and M dashes. I write how I talk, so I kind
You're
of
like
have
one
to.
thought, next thought.
Yeah, so.
You know, I've figured out a really easy solution for fixing M dashes and telling yourself if it's too little or too much. And I've only learned this through the critique show. If you read the section out loud, read it like it's an M dash, because an M dash is essentially you're cutting. It's like an immediate transition. Does it sound natural when it's read out loud?
Right.
Because in our head it sounds natural.
Right.
Does it sound natural out here?
See, here's my primal brain here, but I don't. When I'm using an M dash, I don't use it for the grammar. I use it for the look, the suspense of like hanging into the next paragraph. It's kind of like drawing a line into the next paragraph for me, which is just a different way that I use it just to make the page look more, you know?
Wait. So you use the M dash to lead into the next paragraph?
Sometimes. See,
Interesting.
I will either use an M dash or I'll use 2 dashes, which is just like me going like until
Mm-hmm.
dash dash and then okay, well I have to explain who this character is now. So here's the character and what they're doing, dash dash, and then okay, we're back into this. So it's
Mm-hmm.
very different. I'm just using it wrong.
No, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily saying you're using it wrong at all. Because you're still, I mean, technically the M dash is you're cutting off. M dash is basically like a mid thought or mid idea, and it's being cut off or interrupted. It's an interruption, whether it's an interruption of dialogue or an action. It can really be used for anything: interiority, action, dialogue, narration, whatever. Um, yeah, I don't think that it can be used wrong in that sense. I think it's more just the overuse than anything, unless you're using it at like the end of every paragraph. And it's like, dang, either this is an overuse or maybe this character just has very sporadic thoughts.
I don't know. One may say that I am a little liberal with it.
Oh man. Let's see. Oh, Maggie was saying they use a lot of ellipses for pauses in speech to reduce dialogue tags and dialogue breaks. Yeah, I could see that. I've definitely used my share of ellipses as well. Um, I almost feel like it's easy. It's easier for me to use ellipses because it's like a character trailed off for like dramatic tension. I don't know. I probably use ellipses a little bit more than M dashes personally. Mm, interesting. Yeah. All right, everyone. Welcome to grammar hour, punctuation hour 101.
And that it's like
Everybody's like, all right, I'm done. This is
because
so many
I
years ago.
look there is when I was working on Dogpile, I
Mhm.
struggled so bad with like
Mhm.
dialogue tags. And
Mhm.
JL helped me. She was so gracious in helping me with like my dialogue tags and my punctuation and all that because they were a mess.
Really?
But yeah, I was. Sometimes I just like to get the story out and then clean up everything else later. So
But I mean, right? You wanting to get the story out, that's not a bad thing at all. That's a
yeah,
really good thing that you want the story to be out and be sound, to make sense,
yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah, so yeah, she was very nice about helping me with that. It was very cool.
Well,
But
have you
now,
got? I know what were you
but
gonna say?
I was just saying, but now I see where I've made those mistakes in other works that I haven't edited yet. So I'm like, oh, now I gotta go through and so,
Well, I think
but
that's
yeah,
also what's interesting because I think the more that we write, the more we get better.
yeah,
So, like, regardless of like where you're at in your learning journey, the story that you're working on right now is better in so many standards than what you were working on 5 projects ago or 10
right,
projects ago.
yeah,
So then the question always becomes next story or revise an old one.
right. Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one. I think that's probably why there's that like saying that writers can literally probably keep rewriting their stories until forever.
Yeah.
This is see, this is where I'm ahead. I don't rewrite anything. I just leave it as is, and I
Okay.
come back to it like a year later
Okay.
Mm.
and try it again. And if it was good the first time, then maybe you should just leave it that way.
That's not a bad strategy. Then you end up building a bit of a collection, and you end up building a collection over time.
Yeah.
Mm. Always revise things from a long time ago. I never revise things I immediately did.
Yeah.
Mm,
Take some
yeah,
time between projects.
I ask
Come
myself
back.
if I take time in between. I think I just go straight through, And I don't know if I've been more influenced with Scarecrow because I'm so used to the live streaming it, and I might be a little different for me. It's hard to tell. But I just feel like I know in my heart I'm not going to stop until it's published because I've done so many days and I've just proven it. It's of course I want everyone to read it, but it's more for myself. Like I want to be able to achieve that goal. Yeah. So I think that's really interesting. But I've worked on so many projects before where I would get partway into it and then come back. And like I have this huge catalog of things that are just at different stages of the writing process.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like anxiety about going back to like a blank page again?
Like a blank page for what specifically?
Like after the last Scarecrow, and you're like,
Mhm.
okay, maybe it's time to start like the next book. Is like, do you have anxiety about that, or are you worried about starting it over, or are you like, this is what you're ready for? Is like, okay, that one's published. It's time to
Mhm.
just completely move on. So I feel like if I got a book published, I would still keep revising it.
Mhm.
You know?
You know what? Well, that's a really great question. I think part of it is I probably won't know how I feel until I'm actually finished with it. But when I think about my writing journey in general, and I'm very unique in that I've been writing from like a really young age, not consistently, but writing from a very young age. Um, I think for me, I don't get anxiety from a blank page. I think for me, because with storytelling, I think it's like I have a story that I want to tell, and I just get excited about telling the full story. So finishing book one for me feels like it's like a milestone to continue telling the greater story. Because The Last Scarecrow is the first book of either a trilogy or a series. I know the greater story. I know the major plot arcs for a couple of the books, but I don't know how many books that's going to be. I already know what book two is going to be. I know some of the major plot arcs. So for me, that's exciting because I'm like, okay, well, now I'm getting to tell this next portion of it. And I'm almost like excited to start on it, but I'm at the same time wanting to make sure that this is a great story. So I wouldn't say anxiety, probably more just excitement. I think, Maddie, the thing I'm struggling with is do I go straight onto the second book or do I take a break and do another project in between? And I think that's where I haven't been able to decide yet.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That was a great answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard because like with everyone knows I'm a fantasy author, but with Right Now and writing, I almost feel like I should write a book about the writing process or something writing motivational. And that'd probably very much like help a lot of people, I'm sure. Um, but I don't know. I just don't know what the right thing to do is. I feel I'm so limited on time. I want to figure out how to get more time to myself to write. That's what I want to figure out.
Would you actually enjoy writing a book like about right now? Like, would
That's a
that
hard, that's a good question. I've never written I've read a lot of nonfiction books, but I've never written a nonfiction book. But I mean, I kind of see it as it's the same extension of doing like a YouTube video or writing an article. Um, and that I'm basically relaying information on how to do a thing. Now, I think I always seem to enjoy writing fiction a little bit more. But it's not something that I would know until I tried. It's interesting. I think it's interesting when we break out into trying different like formats. I'm curious, what different formats of like writing have you guys worked on before? I know you guys are both clearly screenwriters as well. Have you guys both worked on like screenplays and obviously books?
Yeah, books, short stories. I've
Mhm.
dabbled in like audio drama format.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are kind of my
Mhm.
mains.
Oh man, when I was like a really really young child,
Mhm.
my mom let me use Microsoft Word, and like the first thing I ever did on a computer was try and write a novelization of the Tron Legacy movie. It was
Nice.
so bad and it was so dumb, but Yes, I've done like books, I've done short stories, and I've done film and television, and right now I'm trying to do YouTube, but we're gonna see how that goes.
Yeah. I
Yeah. I don't know, go for it.
I was gonna say that I also I dabbled in this. There was like an era in the early to mid 2000s in which people posted fan fiction on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and they would post like it was like High School Musical fan fiction. I remember because that was what I was obsessed with, and they would post the picture and then like the dialogue and then like the picture and then like the like and so like I dabbled in that too, but it's but not serious.
That's yeah. I mean, I think I think for that type of stuff, at least on YouTube and videos, I think that tends to be story. It seems to be original story retellings. Those are the channels that I see where it's like an original story, but then the visuals is either following the scene if somebody can also animate it, or it's giving enough of a vibe of the scene, almost like audio dramas. It's what I see for YouTube is like audio dramas with with certain types of visuals.
Oh man, I'm trying to work on like video essays.
Mm-hmm.
I have them
Yeah, video
written.
essays are popular. I mean, I if I did a video essay for the channel, that would probably do much better. But it's always the time factor.
I have no patience. I can't talk out loud for a long enough time to do like an hour and a half video essay and then go and edit it afterwards.
Yeah, it's the video editing. And that's one of
Yeah.
the as we all know, since it sounds like with both of you guys have done your share of content creation before. One of the first things that content creators tend to outsource when they have the resources to pay somebody else to do a thing is video editing.
Mm.
Which is why there's probably like an easy assumption that as AI evolves over time, that one of the jobs for content creation that will probably be outsourced the quickest will probably be video editing to AI. Why would you pay somebody to do it, or why would you waste hours doing something you hate doing when it can do it and it can just put it together for you and do all the cuts and do all the jump cuts and do all the things that you need.
I'm
Man,
weird. I like editing. When I did TV journalism, TV broadcasting in high school,
Mhm.
and I would love to sit in the little cave and
Mhm.
just sit in the dark and just edit for hours and come out like I hadn't seen the sun in 3 decades. Like that's just fun for me. Like it has to be. I'm very picky. I'm
Mhm.
picky about a lot of things. My movie experiences, like I'm very picky. Like I have to have the right software, the right
Mhm.
computer. Like it has to be like a perfect experience for me to sit down and just
Mhm.
edit for hours.
oh man, my last experience in film school before I dropped out was just failing miserably to edit a film over the course of
Mhm.
like a full week in the editing suite. There was like
Yeah.
a night that I slept inside the editing suite and then woke up and started editing again. And
That
I
is
think
so
that was just a breaking point where it was like, I never want to look at a video editor again. I don't know
no,
how
that's
people do
so
it.
I was so glad. I was so happy. My computer, it got to the point because when I was in college, I was a TCOM major. And about halfway through, it was the middle of the pandemic, like early pandemic, and my computer couldn't handle Premiere Pro anymore. It was just old. And I was like, well, I get to change my major. I'm not going on campus to do any of this. I'm not, nope, I'm done. I'm done. So I hung it up for a few years, but I'm slowly going back to that.
Yeah, I don't think that I dislike video editing. I
Mhm.
think I enjoy it enough. I enjoy other parts of content creation more. I think I
Mhm.
enjoy it well enough. I think for me, it's the time factor. Editing
Yeah,
is very time intensive.
yeah,
Um, if you're creating like a 10, oh god, I remember going through this whole learning journey. Like to create like a 20-minute video, I probably have filmed at least 1 hour of footage or 2 hours or however much I put together for it, and then it's so time intensive to go through all the footage, and then to piece all the things together, and then you gotta do the audio and the sound effects and the color grading and all the things that go into to then
yeah,
get it to that final stage. It's just
yeah,
time. That's the
yeah.
challenge. Is the time.
People seriously underestimate how dense a 10-minute video is.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do.
seriously.
Because they don't think about the filming process of like, yeah, well, how many takes did you do to film a 10-minute video?
Right.
I had a budget of $1 million and I used one room. This is great.
I'll
Exactly.
admit, I think that was another reason that I played into live streaming early on, that I had made that decision, was because I know that if I did more video uploads, I would do better because the YouTube algorithm serves video uploads better. But the nice thing with live streaming is you don't have to worry about editing.
Right.
You don't have to worry about it. It's like you upload it, we're live. I'm either say I look like I know what I'm talking about or I don't, and I'm all right with that.
You should save some clips every now and then, just put together like a little compilation of like funny moments, putting a
You know,
dragon on things, you know?
yeah, I've come up with so many ideas. I have like probably like a laundry list of things to re-upload and repurpose and piece together. And I've saved a lot of pieces of it. I've learned over time, like, all right, well, which comments, screenshots should I say, which videos? What I've learned is that if I don't track something in the moment, I forget it. Because after 530 consecutive streams, they all blend together.
Yeah.
Except for the specialty ones, right? Like obviously Faded Fantasy. I'm gonna know Faded Fantasy, right? Obviously the Right Now Thon, Freaky Friday, like the big ones. But like, so if somebody came up to me one time and they're like, "Yeah, hey, I trying to find that one thing that you said in one of our writing sprint streams," and I was like, I was like, "Yeah, it was Kaufman Riots episode 231 at the time code of 2 minutes and 30 seconds." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to remember that. I'm barely remember my own streams." And whatever.
For real.
It cracks me up so much.
That's so
So yeah, that's why I have to track things down if I want to save them.
Right.
At least if they're like non-specialty, like non-event streams, anyways.
Yeah.
You gotta have like one guy just sitting there watching the stream at all times, making note of everything you're.
Well, you know what, Maddie? Once when people put together teams, that's literally what content creation teams get paid to do, is follow them around with the video cameras and then repurpose material.
It's
That's the whole thing.
I love editing.
I think the easy mode of that. I think easy mode is generally if you have content that works and that would work for short form content, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, then being able to take those videos and using the AI tools to do the work for you, and then something that would take hours, you can now put it through the software and it will edit, pick the things, and get the clips for you in like 30 minutes.
There's definitely like an app that I saw. I think there was a streamer talking about it. You could just put a Twitch clip into a website and it just comes up with automatic YouTube short. Like it uploads straight to YouTube short. You just
Yeah, I want to say one of the ones I use was that, which one was it? I haven't been on top of my shorts game lately, but I know I need to. What was it? Opus Clip. Opus Clip is generally what I've used for shorts, and basically like you can put in a video, and then basically based on whatever prompts you put into it, it will give you the video clips with the titles, with the copy, and then you just go in and you review it, and then you can repost it to all the social media platforms, and it does it in minutes. It's like pretty crazy.
That's crazy useful.
Mm-hmm. I think that's why the name of the game with content creation, you would think it should be quality, but it's not always. I think it's consistency, and the more you can put out, the more you have the chance of reaching more people.
It's all about the captions, I've heard too. It's like if you just have keywords in your captions, then they just start popping up everywhere.
It's possible. I'm not as familiar with captions and how they affect SEO, but what I do know that a lot of the companies have rolled out and have been focused on the past couple of years is translation, the auto translations into other languages. I think I'm pretty sure YouTube made it a thing for all channels like a couple months ago, maybe 3 to 6 months ago. I think I'm pretty sure most. I think you have to check the yes for your YouTube channel, but I think it can. I think it does an auto translation service or an auto translation feature. So you're
Mhm.
speaking all the things in different languages for whatever that country is.
It's kind of cool. The more accessible, the better, right?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I think they say that like I'm pretty sure YouTube said at one point that like is like 60% or something like that. Like 60% of YouTube videos are viewed outside of the U.S. or maybe even 70%. Like it's a big number.
I know that you can actually check it out by checking out like the T series channel, which is like the most subscribed channel on YouTube, and that's like
Mhm.
only in Asia, like
Mhm.
which is crazy
Mhm.
because it's so much bigger a number than like 90% of the platform
Yeah,
members.
exactly. And I've heard that as well, right? That it's like the top was that like the top 2% or the top 5% of creators have like 80% of the watch time because
Mm.
it's what people want to watch. Um, which is interesting. People, it's also because people know what to expect, and there's a certain level of quality in teams. It's a little hard to compete with somebody who has a team of 30.
Mm. Yeah,
There's ways
that's
to
fair.
compete, and obviously we figure out ways to do it, but it's just more challenging. And then layer onto that for somebody who has a job, somebody who wants to have relationships, children, they're going to school, they want to have a life, all these other things just make it more difficult.
You can use a subscription to Canva for creating shorts and setting. That's
So, a
interesting.
lot of
You
people
can
use.
set up release dates for your shorts so they come out regularly.
Mm-hmm. A lot of
That
people
is
use creating shorts.
Interesting.
That's interesting. I'm personally not as familiar with Canva as a platform because I've been so it took me many years to learn Photoshop. So like I'm very used to Photoshop, but it took me a really long time to learn the program. Canva is like an excellent tool, and they've been doing some really interesting things, but I haven't used too many of the tools. But anybody who's like wants to do like any type of images or things with content creation should definitely use Canva because it's super
Right.
cheap.
they have a free trial as well, don't they?
I think they do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
This is great.
It's kind of worth it because all of their best features are hidden behind a paywall.
What?
Yeah, I think I remember. I think I heard somebody was saying that actually. All right. Well, I think on that note, let's get some writing in. I feel inspired. I was like, gonna do it. Um, I'm so close. I'm at like 45% of the way through the second draft. I need to get to the 50% mark. I remember last time when I was working on the rough draft. I think when I was writing the 50% mark, the midpoint of the book, I'm pretty sure I was crying the entire time. But I was such a small box that nobody could tell, except for who I was with at the time.
Real. Very real.
What are you guys going to be working on? Give me a second. I'm setting this up.
At first, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna work on this video essay that I've been working on for months," but no, I'm just going back to my screenplay. It's fine. It's where I feel comfort, so it's fine.
Mm, yeah, I still got that 8-page short film. I'm supposed to come up with a bunch of them, so we're gonna be brainstorming that.
Hmm.
We're gonna walk out of here with the Sundance nomination.
Period.
I agree. I think that's. I agree. So, Matt, you're going to be at Sundance next year.
Yes, and you can quote me on that.
I absolutely love that. And then how much longer does it take you to get to the what was that, the Academy Awards or in the award circuit?
Probably by the next day I'll find out.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. All right. And I think I am ready. So let's get some writing in. I need to. That is the wrong screen share. And awesome. So for everyone who's here in the chat with us, who, if you're here in the stream, we're going to get some writing in. We're going to do a little bit of a writing sprint. I threw up 45 minutes. So we're going to really challenge ourselves to get some writing, to do the thing, whether you are working on your own stuff, whether you're working on author branding or something unrelated altogether. Let's push ourselves. I believe in us. So I am all ready. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, editing, revising, author branding, querying, or something else altogether, come join us because it's time to write now. All right. And that is the writing sprint. Dang, Tiara. How'd that treat you? You feel like you're able to make much progress?
Yeah, not bad. I think I got. Hold on, let me pull up Scrivener again. Yeah, it says about 600 words. So
Nice. You made way more progress than I did. I am not for a lack of trying. I actually really wanted to. I have so much work for the Faded Fantasy competition with this week.
right, yeah, that's fair.
I can
Hey,
kind
that's
of,
still progress in some degree.
yeah, I mean, I made a lot of progress, not on Scarecrow, even though
Right.
like wants to be working on Scarecrow, but like this is the weekend. We've been like working towards this for months now. So, yeah. But that's awesome though. Do you feel pretty accomplished with what you wrote?
Yeah, I'm almost done with the scene, and I think I'm gonna finish that up. And I don't know what I'm doing after that. Maybe I'll watch a movie. We'll see.
Let's see. All right, and looks like my studio has been kind of weird. Tiara, just 1 second. That's my studio just froze up. Un momento.
Hey.
All right. I was like, yeah, it's sometimes the studio's a little funky like that. How did it go for everyone here in the community? Were you guys able to get any progress on your writing? Any words in? Hopefully you guys got some words in. Maybe a couple ideas or something to that effect. I feel like we've had a pretty solid meeting today. I mean, we had some absolutely great conversations in the first half of it, and feeling a little inspired, even though I do wish that I was working on Scarecrow. It was going to be like the name. I'm like, wow, I feel like once Faded Fantasy is done, maybe I can like give myself like a day to just work on it.
Yeah.
Even though I might be going straight into AWC. We'll see. I might not have time till June, but like I have to finish it.
Yeah.
Finish the draft. Let's see, Demi, like added 505 words, making 824 out of 5,000 word goals a day. Dang, that's incredible. Devin, I need some of what you're having. I need that 3,000 words a day. Mine's based on a time amount instead of a word count. Man, I'd much rather be on a word count. That's so cool. Really, congrats, though. That's really, really great. Nice. Sure, you made some progress as well. Mom Maggie, got dinner's made. Potato and beef soup with cheddar biscuits. Send some of that my way. Nice. Darren, I feel like I made that 5,000, but I did introduce a new god and super secret background.
That's so cool.
Exciting. That's exciting. Are you, Tiara, are you pretty happy with how yours is shaping up?
Yeah, I got a couple more things to figure out, but nothing too crazy. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Well, so I was like, I might have some. Maybe I might have some longer writing session streams when I'm through part 1 of Crazy Month.
Yeah. Right.
Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us today. It's been a very full, thorough writers group today for our 49th meeting. Next week is 50. Next week is the big 50.
Yeah.
Oof, man. Well, we'll see what we have in store for us next week. And yeah, same time, same place, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here. We'll get some writing in. I'll be back tomorrow for another daily writing stream. Afternoon stream, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll be here. Come join us. And of course, don't forget, the Faded Fantasy is this weekend. The moment is finally upon us. And we're going to read some stories. There's going to be some games, some voting, and all the other things. So hopefully everyone could join us. Come watch us from the sidelines. Tiara, like I know you're just dying to hear all the semifinalist stories. You're just like, can't contain your enthusiasm. Everyone, I appreciate you guys so much. We have so much involved with it this weekend, and that's what we got for you today. Thank you all for joining us. I am Kaufman, and this is
Tiara Spells.
And we'll catch you guys on the next stream.
Bye.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now.